Science has always been identified by its large fact textbooks that everyone learns about in school, but in truth, these facts are only a small portion in the whole process of science. In fact, the process is much more sophisticated than the information in these textbooks. For just a single sentence to be written in any of these textbooks, there must have been a long line of built information leading to such a conclusion. In this video, we will explore the process of dino discoveries and how the science of paleontology was born. Paleontology is a study of prehistoric life, including organisms' evolution and interaction with each other and their environments. As a historical science, it tries to explain causes rather than conduct experiments to observe effects. Paleontological observations have been documented as far back as the 5th century. In fact, the science became established in the 18th century as a result of George Cuvier's work on comparative anatomy, which will be mentioned later on in the video. His findings then developed rapidly in the 19th century. Paleontology lays on the border between biology and geology and shares with archaeology a border that is difficult to define. It now uses techniques drawn from a wide range of sciences, including biochemistry, mathematics, and engineering. As knowledge has increased, paleontology has developed specialized subdivisions, some of which focus on different types of fossil organisms, while others study ecological and environmental history, such as ancient climates. Paleontology has not always been a walk in the park. Like the process of science itself, it started off with random observations not even taken into account or regarded as important. The earliest discovery to our knowledge was in 1789, where a massive thigh bone was found in New Jersey. This discovery was so little that no one remembers the name of the finder, and the bone itself has been permanently misplaced. The owner had sent it to Dr. Caspar Wistar, who placed this first dinosaur bone in his storeroom for 50 years until it disappeared. Wistar missed the opportunity to become, as an American, the first person to describe a dinosaur. In France, the Comte de Buffon was claiming that everything in the world was inferior to the old. He gave examples of water being stagnant, soil unproductive, and life forms necessarily small, weak, and frail. De Buffon accused the indigenous people of the New World of being tiny and bird-like, with undersized sex organs and a low sex drive. This claim was inaccurate as a result of evidence found to contradict these ideas. George Cuvier of France was compiling the first written description of an enormous creature from the New World, the mastodon. Cuvier noted that the creature had been as fierce as a tiger and was now extinct. An obscure English surveyor named William Smith noted that fossils occurred in strata, with the same species frequently occurring together. This raised the question of how species had managed to survive. Even more troubling was the reason to why others had perished. These extinctions appeared to have occurred repeatedly, ruling out the explanation of a single biblical flood. A variety of scientists began to describe the enormous creatures, including Gideon Algernon Mantell and the Reverend Buckland of England. Richard Owen, an anatomist, coined the term paleontology for the young science. He also named them dinosaurian, meaning terrible lizard. It was a misnomer since, as Owen knew very well, many were ubiquitous and all were reptiles, not lizards. As bones continued to be found, scientists became troubled. In some areas of the New World, they were literally falling over huge fields of bones. As the 20th century dawned, it became clear that there were simply too many bones to have accumulated in 20 million years, the supposed age of Earth. Here is a quick video that shows the process of how paleontologists today come about to unravel the fossils of dinosaurs.
Now imagine you wanted to find Tyrannosaurus rex, for example. Well, Tyrannosaurus rex is not alive today, and it only lived during a certain narrow time zone in the past. So first we have to figure out, well, how old is that animal? And then we go to the library and pull out geological maps and look for rocks that are that age. And the next thing is to find rocks that are not only the right age, but also the right environment. And once we found that spot on the geological map, then we go into the field. Here in Texas, Big Bend National Park, the areas along the Rio Grande, it's a great place to look for dinosaur bones. And really, almost any county you go to in Texas will have some kind of fossil bones if you know how to look for them. One dinosaur has 200 or 300 bones in its body. If you find one of these things, it's a dream come true until you start to dig it up. And once you start to dig it up, you realize they're really big. It takes a lot of rock to cover them. That means we have to remove a lot of rock. So we use hammers and chisels. We use jackhammers sometimes. My undergraduates come along and they shovel and brush and help us remove all the rock from around a specimen. And we then use a variety of special kinds of glues and hardeners because these bones are fragile. They've been in the ground for millions or tens of millions of years. And so we have to put glue on them to harden them, to preserve them. And then we cover them with surgical bandages or plaster of Paris and burlap bandages and things of this sort to make the specimens strong so that we can bring them back from the field to the lab.
After such a long journey of discoveries and research, these books may now be actually published and used for teaching and studying. This shows how science must take a harsh road before it can become reliable information that can be used to inform the people who study that particular science today.